Welcome to Homestyle Woodcrafts. My name is James. Today I'm going to do a review of a Ryobi compound miter saw that I've had for over 15 years. Let's get started. First we'll look at some features of the saw and then I'll go into the review. This is the Ryobi 10-inch compound miter saw, model TS1340. This 10-inch saw runs off 120 volts. At no load, it will run at 5,000 RPMs, and it's got a 14 amp motor. It is just a hair under 30 pounds. I'm going to walk you through some of the features of the saw. So here's the motor. It's a 14 amp motor, and it's always had plenty of power for me. Here is the trigger switch, and you'll notice it's got a little hole in it, and that's so you can lock it down if you don't want anybody to be able to have access to the switch. Back here it's got a lock pin. The lock pin, if you pull it out, releases the arm. It's got a carrying handle, which is solid. On each end it's got these two holes, which I believe are for extension support, although I've never used it for that. And there are 4 holes in the frame that allow you to bolt it down to a larger work surface if you like. It has a spindle lock just to the left of the handle that you can depress when you are wanting to hold the blade in place while you're changing it. This is the miter table. It is just over 18 inches wide. The fence, each side of the fence has 2 holes where you can mount an auxiliary fence if you want. It's got a material clamp that will fit on either side. It has a gauge that shows that it cuts from 0 degrees to 45 degrees on either side. This is the miter lock handle. You just unscrew it, depress this, then you can move it along the scale, tighten this down. It has positive stops at 0, 15, 22.5, 30, and 45 degrees. This is the bevel scale. It goes from 0 to 45 degrees. It only tilts to the left as you're facing the saw. And it came with a little dust collection bag. All right, now I'm going to demonstrate some of the cuts. I'm going to do a 2x6 and a 4x4 and a 2x4. Mostly I've cut 1x4s and 2x4s on it. But we're going to sort of test the limits of how big a piece of wood you can cut. I'm going to cut the 2x4 at 0 degrees and 45 degrees. And here is a bevel cut. And now for the 2x6. And the final demonstration cut is a 4x4. Now let's move into the review portion of this video. And you have to remember where I'm coming at it from is from the perspective and experience of a hobbyist. I'm not one of those guys that took it to the job site every day and used it rough and hard. Given that, I've used it on and off for more than 15 years pretty regularly, and now I want to share my experience. So first of all, the cuts I just made, I thought I'd show you the results. So the 0 degree cut looks pretty good. However, on the 45 degree angle, there's a little play there. Not real bad, not great either. It does do the cuts it said it would. It cut a 4x4 without any problem, cut a 2x6, and it cut a 2x4 at 45 degree angles. Some other aspects of the saw are like the power. It's always had plenty of power for my uses. Dust collection, that hasn't been great. I also haven't tried to do much about it. I just take it outside and saw with it. Precision, as I demonstrated, has been pretty good for my purposes. Most of the time I'm doing the 0 degree cuts. And it's stayed square. I haven't had to do a lot of adjustments to it. So that's been good. Portability is great. Like I said earlier, it's about 30 pounds. It's got a nice solid handle on the front or on the top. I've never had to adjust it. And it's very sturdy. So that's been great. I really like this clamp feature. This has been very useful over the years. The only other thing I'd have to say about it is this piece came loose and now I have to, it falls off sometimes. It's adjustable. It'll move a little in case you have an odd sized piece of wood, so that's good. But after so long, I don't know if I can really complain about that. It's amazing I've kept track of it. The surface of this is flat. Never had any problems with it. The fence is also flat, both sides. Never had any trouble with the fence. The one comment I'd make about the fence, because of the profile of the fence, it's kind of angled. It's hard to clamp to it in this way. So that's been a little frustrating sometimes. The bevel and the angle adjustments have gotten stiff over the years, but a little wrestling with it and it still gets there. And I haven't done any maintenance on those things either. So anyway, I went online earlier today. You can still buy some. I saw one for $125 on eBay. It looks like you can still buy parts in places. Overall, it's been a good saw for me, and I don't have any intention on replacing it anytime soon. So I give it a good rating overall. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, I'd invite you to subscribe and hit that like button. And please, if you have any comments about your experience with this saw or other miter saws, please share them. Thanks, and we'll catch you later.